The window was open when I arrived, and I had to drag my suitcases. There are two huge suitcases up a hill with ice and snow, and also my backpack and my hand luggage. And I had to get my key from another location. The shock was that I slept one night without the duvet and without heating in my room, so that I didn't sleep, as you can imagine. I just froze.
Regarding the procedures, did you receive any grant or financial support for your visit?
Basically it's the same money because both are from the European Union. So I received the grant. It's a certain amount. You take some money, and then if you manage to finish your studies or your internship, then you get the rest.
Today, I'm really happy to welcome Katarina. She's a master's student from Greece. She's currently doing an internship in Norway. And what makes her story especially interesting is that it's her second time in Norway. And she first experienced Norway in summer. And now she came back in purpose in winter. So today we'll talk about her experience, what brought her to Norway. Katarina, welcome. It's really nice to have you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. So can you tell us about what's the driving force behind being in Norway, and why did you come to Norway in the winter time?
Okay, that's thank you for having me, first of all. It's nice to talk to you, Safa. So what brought me to Norway in winter? So as you said before, I have been here for a semester for my exchange, Erasmus exchange. It was a totally different experience than now, because when you're in the Erasmus spirit, your social network is much bigger. You don't have so many responsibilities. You just have university and that's it. But now it's a totally different story. Now it's a working environment, very different and more adult experience, as if I can put it that way. But I came here on purpose just to experience how it is to live in Norway during the winter time, and if it's something I can do for possibly moving here and starting my life here again. Because when you move to another countries, like, you start your life again, basically nobody here, so you have to build your network, build your life again, your everyday routines, and adapt to the new environment. So the reason I came here was to see how it is to survive here, if I can survive winter, if it suits me. That's basically
it. We will go back to the answer whether you managed to survive or not. First, your visit, your first visit here was as a student, so you were taking classes.
Exactly,
So how was your experience as a student in Norway?
It was amazing, actually. First of all, I think UIO is a really, really good environment to study in general. The courses are super interesting, so I never got bored. The teachers were very welcoming. Everything was in English. The site was really easy to understand. The procedures were not that hard, so both bureaucracy and the practical things were very easy to manage. And there were many social events, many activities to do. So it was amazing being a student here. You had a balance of both courses and having a life and a social life, so that was great. I also got time to work as well, so I was both a student and working back then when the weather was a little better.
And then now your second visit, it's different, so you're not taking classes, you're doing internship,
yes,
right?
I am basically working. So it's a totally different experience. I'm also I chose to take classes as well on my free time to continue learning the language, because as I mentioned before, the level is amazing at UIO, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. I have to continue studying the Norwegian language.
Yes, that's so cool. Okay, so regarding the procedures, did you receive any grant or financial support for your visit?
Now or back then?
You can tell us about back then first.
Back then, no, it's basically it's the same money because both are from the European Union. So I received the grant for, it's a certain amount, which is not so much money for both times. It's around 670 euros per month, but you don't take it all from the beginning. You take some money, and then if you manage to finish your studies or your internship, then you get the rest. So that's what I got.
So you should like kind of support yourself until you finish your internship, and then you get back somehow the money.
Yeah, you get I think 60% of the money from the beginning. So you basically have the money to get by the first month, and then you receive the rest, or 80. I don't remember the exact amount.
So if someone wants to do the same as you, so what should they do?
So so you have to have an institution like a university. And when is the time for applying for Erasmus Plus, which is either exchange for a semester, but you should be a student and have courses because you need the ECTS to the educational point to prove that you went through the semester and passed the courses that you would naturally do at your university, but you're doing it on another institution. So this is one plan, and there is Erasmus Plus and Erasmus Civis, which has different university options. But for my institution, it was Erasmus Plus that had UIO as a choice. And for the internship is another date, another application, another procedure, which you should apply for Erasmus trainship. You can either be at your last year of studies or one semester after you graduate. So you need to be a graduate student to do so. And you have to keep in mind that it's a bit of a hazard to do so in your home institution, because there are lots of paperwork. You should, apart from the transcript of records that should be translated in English if it's not already at your institution, there are many paperwork. You should do your own insurance as well, and you should cover the cost of that yourself, because we do have the European health insurance card if you are part of the EU. This doesn't cover any accident that might occur at your work, because you're not secured by your work. You have to also secure yourself. So that's also something you should keep in mind. Yeah, there is a sequence of papers you should submit.
And like the amount of funding, is it the same for any country you're going to?
No. It depends on the cost of living, and I get the highest grant because Denmark, Sweden, Norway, I think, and Finland as well are the highest standard of living and cost of living. So you have to have more money than the other ones. But according to the country of your choice, you get the equivalent grant according to the cost of living of each place.
So do you think that the fund that they give you is enough to live in Norway? You said like it's kind of 600 euro?
670. It barely covers your rent and 2 times at the supermarket, and that will be the case if you live on a student accommodation. But if you live in a private apartment, of course shared with other people, because if you want to live alone, it's more than 1,000 plus, right? So
at least I think 1,000 doesn't rent you an apartment, especially in Oslo. So you should have at least like 1,500 euro per month. So if it's a couple, you will get like very basic apartment with the 1,500 euro.
Yeah. So you have to live with other people. You have to just start from there and kind of build your way to living alone when you do have the money to support yourself. But the money is definitely not enough. And you should find also other sources of income. You should have some money on the side, or you should do,
maybe like having a part-time job or something.
Yes, you need that as well. Yeah.
Yes, so let's move from the funding and how to live financially in Norway into winter. So you said that you came in purpose to Norway in winter. So do you feel regretting or not? And like, how are you dealing with the winter conditions so far?
I do not regret it because the reason I came was to check if I can go through that. The weather conditions are a little better than I thought. It's not that cold, but it is slippery. It has so much ice, and you have to learn how to walk on ice, which is a very demanding task and dangerous. But Norwegians, for some reason, have gotten used to that, and they have the muscle memory built in their system, I guess. So yeah, you either fall down or you wear spikes on your shoes, which is a very useful, I would say, accessoire. But Norwegian people do make fun of you if you wear spikes on your shoes, so keep that in mind. Yeah, so I'm trying to avoid wearing my spikes and to learn how to walk on ice. Not fun, but yeah. Also, there is the element of darkness, and it is something that makes winter in Norway a little hard. It messes with your system in many ways, both psychologically and physically. For me, it has messed up my sleep schedule, my digestion, my menstrual cycle, many things. So it is something you should keep in mind when coming here. But I think you will tell me if it's something you get used to or not, or like you build techniques on how to deal with it.
For me, I would say with the darkness, no. But with walking on ice, I'm learning how to walk on ice.
That's a good step.
But for darkness, I think, yeah, we should definitely take vitamin D and this stuff. I think they could help somehow, but still, they don't replace the presence of sun. But something is very important also that could help us cope with winter is to learn how to do outdoor activities, because we really need to be outside even if it's dark. So we need to learn how to ski or how to skate or do this stuff, or maybe go hiking. So like every year I spend more winters here, I get convinced more and more that I should really learn something to do outside. Because what makes us like feel sad or a bit depressed from winter is being inside for a long time.
You're right, and I think that it's part of the Norwegian culture to go outside, and that's why there's even this chocolate, the quick lunch, that has the rules of the mountain inside. So it's part of winter, and yeah, it's something personally I don't find the time to do so, but maybe like if I had a more normal schedule, let's say, I would definitely invest time in doing so.
Yeah, I think it really helps. So it's almost mandatory to have something to do outside.
Nice. And also clothing, you learn how to dress. I still haven't figured out that part.
Yeah, we will have Norwegian guests and in our episode, so he will tell us about more stuff and tips how to survive Norway in winter.
That would be great. We have to listen to that podcast really with much focus. I'm just trying to not stay outside for more than 40 minutes, 1 hour max, because then I get this shock.
Yes, I think especially if you're standing, but if you're walking, I think it's totally fine because your body's warming up. So if you go hiking, I spent more than 1 hour outside, but I was walking. So if you go hiking and walking, you will even feel warm. Of course, maybe if you are wearing properly, but if you stand, I think it could be dangerous.
Yep. Yeah. It's this, I call it cold shock. My brain shuts down. I don't know, maybe I'm not built for this, but my eyes are being red and I feel a headache and I cannot think properly. So I have to have a half an hour of a warm shower to recover.
So let's move to the cultural side. So what do you miss the most about Greece while living here?
Tricky question. I love my country, but there was a reason I left. I do miss the warmth of people, but the warmth of people also comes with some other things, which is maybe crossing boundaries more easily, or personal space, or or I miss the warmth of the weather as well in a way. But also this comes with a cost, so it also like sometimes it's too warm, or we cannot deal with the weather conditions such as rain or snow or even sun. So with the sun comes wildfires, with the rain comes flooding, with the snow comes trees falling on people and cars. So there is no actual system to support any occasion in my country, which is not very pleasant. So I left for a reason. I didn't left everything behind because I just wanted to go away. So yeah, I miss some circumstances. I also miss the quality of the food. That's basically what I miss the most. It's that we do have very fresh and good products. And we have the farmers market that you can just go and talk to the seller. You can feel your food. You can smell your food. You can just have a more direct contact with the basic source of nutrition. So that is really important. But also that has another side, that it's that the prices of the goods have went up so much. It's getting more expensive. The producers don't produce so much anymore because there has been like very strict and unfair legislation for them. So there have been huge demonstrations in streets, in the highways and the roads of Greece, that they are closing. The farmers are closing the road. So it's been a mess, And yeah, I do miss certain parts, but also not.
So, as they say, everything has like negative parts and positive parts.
Yeah.
So you're doing good job in looking at negative parts in Greece, so that you can deal with it here and look at the positive parts in Norway.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah, and life here is a bit hard, especially when you don't have a Norwegian job, and a Norwegian salary and stuff like that, and many people. But I do not regret being here, because there are many things that are running smoothly and that are better than the place I've been living basically my whole life. So yeah, I think it's worth it to be here.
So what surprised you the most about Norway and the Norwegian society?
So what surprised me? I guess this. Yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify to the listeners, so Norwegians sometimes when they talk, they do this gestures that most foreigners have no idea why. So maybe we can ask our Norwegian guest.
Yes, you should.
Maybe he will explain to us what's the story behind.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. But what surprised me the most is the self-focus. People are very self-focused. They have very strict personal space. They do not like small talk at all, which, like, you cannot ask for directions on the street to a stranger. It will seem weird, and that is really surprising to me. It's also the connection to nature and how close they are to nature. And we kind of briefly mentioned that before, but it is a part of their life, and they do really appreciate nature, and they become a totally different person when they are there. They say hi to each other, and I think that's really interesting.
But have you experienced like a strange reaction? So did it happen that you asked someone about direction or something?
Yeah.
So what was the reaction that you found weird?
So I was at the T-banen, the metro station, and I wanted some directions on how to get to a certain station, because in Oslo metro system, there is a specific line that goes one direction but also does a circle. Ringen is called. And I could not understand how this ringen thing works. So I asked the person, because I wanted to go to a specific place, how do I reach that place? Because I don't understand this route. And he looked at me like, what? Like, why are you talking to me? what do you want? Like I wanted something bad out of him. So it was a very weird reaction, and I felt bad for asking. But I asked some Norwegian friends afterwards, and they told me that you never ask for directions. You never ask for help when you're at the restaurant or something, even though it's basically their job to do so. You just avoid the unnecessary talking. I cannot get used to that because I think that social interaction is part of our everyday life and we're living in a society. So that's something that it's difficult to get used to.
So, did you experience any kind of cultural shock compared to life back home?
I mean, yeah, I did, because when I came here, like you said that I came here during summer. No, I came in directly in January, but I had, half of the winter
In Greece or
No, yeah, I had half of the winter in Greece, and I came January 4th here.
the first
first time.
visit?
Yeah. So when I first came here, my room didn't have heating. The window was open when I arrived, and I had to drag my suitcases. There are two huge suitcases up a hill with ice and snow, and also my backpack and my hand luggage. I had to do that, and I had to get my key from another location. So the shock was that I slept one night without the duvet and without heating in my room. So that I didn't sleep, as you can imagine. I just froze
In January?
in January.
Wow,
It was
should be
really
tough.
intense. And the next day was the 4th, I think, of January. So my lovely, lovely housemate told me to go to IKEA together. So there was a snowstorm back then. We tried to reach IKEA, which is kind of far from where I lived back then, by bus, and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere for 1 hour because the bus was not coming back, and it was a snowstorm. So I was with my IKEA bags and the snow. So that was a bit of a cultural shock, because that was one of the harshest winter in Norway. So that was a bit of a cultural shock. Now things are much milder regarding to snow and ice. So yeah, that was definitely a shock. And also a shock was that I was trying to have a taxi drive me, but because I had the bags, they didn't take me. And I was willing to pay more, but yes.
So they didn't want to take you because you had bags?
Yes.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is. And it was like Uber, and I was willing to pay more, and I just don't understand. Yeah, but it was just one day, one rough day.
But maybe you met a particular person, or it happened with more than.
No, it was 3 drivers.
Oh, okay.
And maybe because like someone has told me that you should notify the driver if you have luggage. And I was writing that, and they canceled the ride.
Yeah, sorry that this happened to you.
Thank you. It was a rough day. Yeah.
So what was your experience with language so far?
So I really love the sound of Norwegian language, and that's why I choose to do it also in my free time. They speak really fast. I think it's quite melodic. I love hearing this language. So, but it's really difficult when you're learning it to start speaking with Norwegian people, because most of the time they either speak really fast or they speak a dialect, and whatever you've learned you cannot understand and detect, because they, for example, people from near Bergen, I think, they have this r.
Yeah, instead of R is
Yeah, so like it's so difficult when you're on a low level in Norwegian to understand.
Yes, they have different dialects. Each part has its own dialect, and it doesn't sound similar at all.
No, not at all. And it's that's really hard. However, I think that it's a language you can easily learn if you know English or German, because they are quite similar. And yeah, it's a relatively easy language compared to Greek, for example. If you want to learn Greek, it's going to be a bit of a hazard.
Yeah, there's an expression that many nationalities adapted. They say it looks like Greek to me when they don't understand anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Or Greeks say it looks like Chinese to me. So that's
the same. Also in Tunisia, we say like Chinese.
Yeah, right.
So do you feel like you are more yourself here in Norway or less yourself compared to back home?
That's an interesting question. I do feel more like myself mostly the previous time I came here because I had the time to have more time for myself. Now I don't have free time. And when I have free time, I have to either do chores or study for something or work for something. So, yeah, I don't have the time to feel like myself at the moment. However, I feel like I'm more free here and that if I took the time, I would feel more like myself as the previous time because I feel like I don't do that at work. I like wearing colorful makeup and eyeliner. Now I have my pink eyeliner on. And glitter and wearing colors and yeah, just I like that as a spirit. But yeah, now at my working environment, I feel like I cannot do that so much for some reason. Even though it's really open, I don't feel like I can come looking, doing my. I always put a tiny bit of eyeliner at work, but nobody's dressed or have makeup on, so I don't feel like it can fit.
Yeah, I think this is very common in Norway. They don't overdress if they go to work compared to other countries.
Not dress at all, I would say. Like not even like something. Yeah, exactly. I think also in your culture.
Yeah, people like dress and do makeup a lot also.
Yeah, sometimes.
But here also when I attended some cultural classes, they mentioned that. So in Norway they don't overdress at all. So it's very basic, very casual.
Yeah. But sometimes it's part of your identity. So it's not that you dress for work, it's that you dress for yourself. So it also ties up with the question about do you feel more like yourself? Because yes and no at the same time. So that's why, like, when I don't work, for example, today, I try to just change things a little bit and feel more like myself. Yeah. But I wish there was a little bit more time to do that.
Yeah, so maybe outside of work, you would feel like more that yourself.
Yeah.
Especially that you feel like that you are free from judgment.
Yeah, I do feel that. Although I think there is internal judgment from Norwegian people, but it's a bit more concealed. Sometimes you will not see the direct gaze that is judgy, but you will feel the energy. But sometimes this can be just a reflection of what you feel internally. For example, I might feel judged, so I might see judgment in people's eyes. But I do think that there is a tiny bit of a tint of judgment in some looks. I do feel that this is seasonally affected. When it's summertime, you cannot detect that gaze so much. It's like people are more happy, more alive, so they might also not look at you in a weird way. But during winter, maybe it's more intense, or maybe I just haven't experienced summertime with my current adult gaze so far. So, yeah.
Okay, so if someone who's watching or listening and thinks about having similar experience, would you recommend it?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. I think that living on a different place always has to offer something new. And I think that living in Scandinavia is an experience itself. You have time, like even though like I complained multiple times that I don't have time, but you do, like everything I do is to figure out more things about me, to investigate and research things and paths that I haven't thought of. There is space for creativity here, and there is space for diversity, I think, as well, even though there is some judgment. But judgment is everywhere. So yeah, and I do think that in Norway the living standard is very high, and there is space and funding for research, for art, and for expression. There is freedom of expression, both for your identity, your sexuality, everything, religion as well. So yeah, I would recommend Norway for many reasons. And like even the fact that we are currently on a library and we can just create something, and there is equipment most of the time. There is a space for creation and expression. And I really appreciate that, regardless of cold ice, winter coldness, sometimes with the social interactions, and yeah.
So if you had to describe life in Norway in just 3 words, what would they be?
Lonely, productive, and interesting.
And your answer is interesting. So thank you so much, Katarina, for being here and for accepting to be my guest. It was really inspiring. So I hope that also it was inspiring for who's watching. And you gave a lot of interesting tips.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Safa. And it's really interesting that you're making this podcast and you're just giving people the chance to speak and to say their perception and their experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, because every life experience is interesting.
That's really, really interesting. Looking forward to the Norwegian person's podcast.
Yeah. So thank you for listening and see you in the next episode.
Bye.